Okay, let's try this again. In the middle of taping this, and I had a dog hit my arm, which made me accidentally shut off the phone. But it's Sunday, November 7th, time for another Fireside Chat with Dizzy. I wanted to have this last night because it was the last night before the time change, but hubby was really, really, really bad. Okay, Callie, she's making it hard for me to do anything. Yes, okay, yes, I know. I love you too. He had his treatment on Tuesday, and has not been doing well. Yesterday he was so bad I wanted him to go to the hospital, call the doctor, something, but he refused. He was cold. It's mid-70s in the house. I'm dying and he's freezing. He was tremendous amount of pain and was having problems urinating because he was having blood clots. I couldn't even get over to feed until late. My daughter came to stay with him, but she couldn't come until late because her husband, Air National Guard, he was at base yesterday and he took her car. I'm not sure why. She doesn't like driving his, so she would have if she had to, but he was able to get back a little early, and she came and stayed with him so I could feed. So I said he's not doing good. And I just barely had time to get everybody fed before it got dark. So if you could remember to pray for him, it would be appreciated. I honestly did not know that he was going to make it through the night. I just noticed I got a nice pile of manure in the picture. Oh well, it is what it is. That's what you expect when you have horses. I am now in a rush against time. We had frost most nights this past week, plus 2 nights where we had a freeze. I so far have not been able to have a fire. I don't have wood for it. The chimney needs to be cleaned, and hubby doesn't want me to go up on the roof to clean it. I'm hoping that I can get my son-in-law or somebody to go up on the roof and clean the chimney for me. Starting tomorrow, I will be doing wood every day to start getting what we need. I'm going to need between 3 and 4 cords in all probability, which is normal. I'm working on getting the garden prepped for next year. I got part of it done today. I finally got all of my potatoes out. The ones that were sprouting have been put in bins. I'm going to put dirt, potatoes, dirt, leaves, big bunch of leaves, and then dirt on top of it. I don't know if I'll get anything from it or not, but we'll see. And the tub that I used to try to grow them in this year, I will not be using again. It's a metal tub, and it's heavy enough to begin with. My thought was to plant the potatoes in it, which I planted and then wasn't able to keep covering them with dirt like I wanted to. Otherwise I would have probably gotten more, but when I went to dump the tub, I just couldn't with the amount of dirt in there. So I do have a fiberglass tub. These are all things that I get curbside shopping that I will be using next year for sweet potatoes and see if that goes any better. I cannot say for sure because I've never been diagnosed, but I think I suffer from SAD. So this year I'm trying something different. Last year, I will admit, between how bad as hubby was and everything, I just couldn't get motivated until the weather really changed. Because I wasn't able to spend the time outside that I normally do, so needless to say, I wasn't getting vitamin C at all, hardly from the sun. So I have started taking a vitamin D supplement. So that's one change that I've made. Another change I've made is I was waiting in the mornings until I knew for sure that hubby was up. Well, come to find out he's up a lot earlier than I thought. He's normally up by the time I wake up, and I had just been staying in my room and doing whatever. So what I started doing was I started getting up early. It would still be dark out, getting him something to eat, getting my breakfast, and then heading for the farm. Some mornings it would still be dark out. Get everybody fed and leave, and by the time I was leaving, it was about the same time that normally I was leaving for the farm, and now I was heading for the house. So that's helped me get stuff done at the home, at home. I was able to take 3 of the chickens to the auction on Tuesday. I hadn't been able to take the other 3 because hubby had been really bad on Monday, and I just didn't have the time to go in there and find them and get them in the pen. I have gotten a few eggs from them, so at least I'm getting something, but not much. I do have almost all of my chickens sorted out. I'm going to have like a dozen to sell in the not too distant future. Now I'm doing something different this year. In years past, I would just replace a few of my chickens and keep the older ones over the winter, and then every year I was, other than my broodies and certain hens that I would keep in for whatever reason, so I was keeping old birds over the winter and just having a few new ones, few new young ones. Well, this year I've gotten rid of my old birds. I just have 3 left. The smoke has changed direction. So I have mainly new birds to go through the winter, and I have about a dozen or so that I need to be selling soon. I'll still have a few more of the young ones. There's like 8, I think, of those that I will be keeping out of, let's see, 11 and 12. That's 23, so I'll be keeping like 8 of them. There's a few roosters, and the rest will be young pullets, which I'd be able to get rid of come like the end of January, beginning of February. Let's see. Gidget has been driving me nuts. It seems like every time I turn around she's in heat, but that's kind of good because I know she's not pregnant. I'd rather have her in heat than pregnant. Haven't had Smelly get into the field anymore. She hasn't escaped anymore. I will be this week working on getting the extension made for her house so that it's more weatherproofed come winter. Did say something to the farm owner about the leak in my barn roof. I showed her the hole, picture of the hole, so she's going to see if she can't do something about it temporary until she's able to fix the roof completely. See, I did some work on my pole barn to keep the water from coming in from the ends and try to find holes in the roof. Well, of course now, because of the condensation, now it's raining in there. I did open the window that I have in there. That seemed to help this morning. I am going to try something to try and get so that I don't have the condensation raining in there. Don't know yet if it'll work. I've been trying to figure out for weeks, actually years, what to do with all the long pieces of wood that I had for various projects. I had a dumb moment yesterday. It's now, the majority of it is up in the hay stall. There's rafter supports, whatever you want to call them, in the roof. I put the wood up there. It's out of my way. So that's about all. Oh, the week that I had this week, I didn't really have time to work with any of the horses. I don't know that I'll have time this week or not. So I'm really have a big push to get stuff done before the weather gets really nasty. But it shouldn't take me too much longer, and I'll be ready to do nothing but work with horses. And I might even try to build a 8x12 shed out here. It remains to be seen. It's going to depend to a point on the price of lumber. I hope you have a nice evening, and I'll try to talk at you next week.